Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the AI Interconnect podcast, where we explore how the world's most forward thinking leaders are using AI and automation to reshape entire industry. I'm your host, Lauren, and today I'm joined by Michael Wang, the CEO of Origin, based in New York. And Michael's is a long-time deal maker in commercial real estate and is now bringing that hand-on expertise with tech-enabled system thinking. His company is working to transform how real estate get done, especially in markets like New York City, where zoning, compliance, and local policy make every project a challenge. Michael, great to have you here on the show.
What's up, Lauren? Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Wonderful, my pleasure. And that's going to be fun. Let's start at the beginning. Um, Walk me through your personal journey and how did you go from brokerage to building your own platform?
Yeah, okay. I wrote some stuff down. I don't know if I'm gonna read it. I'm not like a reading guy, but in New York City, I'm guessing this is you're in France. Is that correct?
Yeah, in Spain or France. Yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
that's correct.
Europe. This is probably like a worldwide podcast. So, in New York City, like a lot of cities, you probably think of Manhattan when you think of New York City. There's the other boroughs around it. So, how I got started in doing what I'm doing now is that most of the expertise is concentrated in Manhattan. And when you're kind of like these outer boroughs, I'm sure you heard of like Brooklyn, and I'm in Queens and stuff like that. When you are out here on like the outskirts of Manhattan, there's not that much support. So you join a big firm, but like the whole team, the office, everyone's in Manhattan. All their deals are in Manhattan. All their expertise is in Manhattan. And you're kind of left on your own island. So like rather than paying this huge split, which is sometimes like 50-50, sometimes even more to the brokerage I'm working under, you're kind of doing your own thing anyway. So uh, I felt that at the time I had no choice but to just kind of start my own brokerage because no one was really doing what I was doing anyway.
Okay, interesting. Very
Yeah.
good beginning. when when and then when did you realize that the traditional brokerage model um, was maybe broken or had an issue?
Well, the traditional brokerage model is like, it's super old, man. It's like dinosaurs. Uh, I feel like more so than other industries, even now. So you think about what makes money. I mean, a lot of things in the world make money, right? But the markets make money, technology makes money. You can be like, I don't know, oil and gas makes money, but real estate makes tons of money. But the way brokerage is done, I'm a broker uh, that does deals, but from the tenant side, from the landlord side, they're doing their own deals. They're doing deals too. And I mean, it's beyond outdated. There's no systems, the paperwork's disorganized. There's almost this layer of like, at least what I thought kind of growing up in the industry is like, some older guys are like protecting the information, but that's really like not the case. I got like these little pop-ups on my computer, so I apologize. I don't know how to turn them off, but uh the industry is super outdated. And I think your question was like, when did I realize? And it's hard to realize, in the beginning, I don't even know how to do the deals. I don't know what I don't know. But as you keep going, and I had a background so my background is in manufacturing. That's the real career that I had before this. And I was always into like Six Sigma and like just-in-time manufacturing. Um, I always pictured business as uh, this dude on an oil rig, kind of, and there's all these blue collar workers just gonna go doing a million things, and this one guy in his suit, like on an offshore rig with like a hard hat and with like these charts, keeping everything on point. And that's how I always ran my businesses. Um, but in a service-based business is a little bit different. What I came to find out. Um, but still, there's just like whether it's a service-based business or something else, it's just like pen and paper almost. So, to
Okay.
answer your question, I guess it's like if I found out gradually, and as I kept encountering a problem within the deal, and then I own the business too. So like a problem within the business, you keep like pushing and pushing and pushing and trying to figure things out. Now the modern world now for the past like I don't know like 5 years, data and tech has really shown itself, at the trade shows and like the companies promoting themselves within real estate. Um, and it's like a big thing, but um, the problem still exists because, and I think we talked about this kind of this as part of why I'm even on this podcast is like, um, they don't really get the deal part of it yet, like the tech guys and the platforms that are third party. I'm still trying to figure
Oh,
it out.
yeah, yeah. Now that makes sense. Okay. Then you also mentioned that deals are horizontal and not vertical. Can you explain what that means for someone outside the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good segue kind of to what I was just saying. Like tech companies, they're always trying to solve this one problem, which is correct. I mean, it's great that they're doing that, but you can't solve the deal making by solving one problem. So, for instance, if you can tell me all the visitors that go to this Starbucks with the cell phone data and break it down and tell me everything about it, that's great. If your data is correct, first of all, but that's great. But that's just one piece of the deal. Now, you can say, like, well, through deeper analysis, we know what kind of business should go next to it. Another platform would do that, or the same platform. You say, okay, well, pull me a list of the businesses uh, that exist that are in that industry and let me get all that contact information. Okay, well, I might use like Zoom info for that. And then now I got to call them and I need to know this, and that, like the construction, the architecture, like you said, the permitting. I know there's permit companies coming up doing that. So like, uh, in the deal making process and really in brokerage, we just do deals strictly. The deal is horizontal, meaning, um, there's so many different parts and departments from starting a deal to ending a deal rather than solving like one specific problem.
That's correct. That's correct. I like this. And was there um, a defining deal or moment that push you to launch Origin?
No, man, I read Peter Thiel's book. I mean, it's not just him, but that always comes to mind, Zero to One. And
Yeah,
you know, uh Origin before was Project Queens. Queens is a borough in New York City. That's where I grew up. That's where I was born. So I decided to hyper focus on this market. Um, Queens is a neighborhood called Flushing. And um Flushing is I might be getting this wrong, but like anecdotally here, this is what I think we all believe. Like outside, like in the entire world, it's like the number one immigration hub for Chinese people, and I'm Chinese. So with Chinese market being what it is, and me being able to navigate and speak Chinese and navigate both cultures, and me living in and around Flushing, the idea was to hyper focus in Flushing and kind of eat off of this network. And Peter Thiel's book, amongst other things, but was a big part of the decision to do that. And then we started kind of that was like 6 years ago, and now we've gone and changed the name to Origin because we're not hyper focused in Flushing anymore. That was like we've done that, and now we're expanding outwards into the rest of the boroughs, into the rest of the country.
Okay, fair enough. And I like the book.
You're right. Yeah,
um,
awesome. I love that. I love that.
yeah, yeah,
Share that.
I
Yeah.
read it a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, then. Okay, there is always a problem that you're solving, and what exactly is broken, as I said already, in real estate deals process today? But what are the most frustrating inefficiency you encounter every week?
Bro, our job is an efficiency. So,
Yeah.
like, you gotta understand, man, like, brokerage is not sexy at all. It's not even fun per se. Like, it's not what anyone would, going into it, think what it is. Like, what's cool, like making cool products, um, focusing on like a specific problem that you uh like AI, I'm gonna build, the next thing, or um electric cars, or um I don't know, I made this awesome trade in the stock market, and I like invested in GameStop, whatever it is, right? Like something cool to say that's like extra, that's like really extreme and specific, that added tons of value, and hopefully you made a bunch of money off it, maybe got famous off it. Like that's what everyone likes. That's what everyone like posts on Instagram. But brokerage has like none of that, right? We do a series of tasks, like I was alluding to before. We're more of like a manager. We're more of like a quarterback. We're more of um like a general in the army, rather than the soldier, the sniper that's like super cool in the movies, right? You never like play a war movie and like it's like an hour of the general like talking about how to organize and make decisions. It's always like the cool shit. So in brokerage, by nature, that horizontal that workload we have, it is to organize. So where are the inefficiencies? Like, I'm not going to go into like regular business inefficiencies, because like you can go anywhere and learn that. And that's the same across like any business. So like, I'm just going to talk about the deals, right? The real estate deal inefficiencies. And the inefficiencies here start in the very beginning, because, and I have to speak specifically to brokerage. And it really doesn't matter if I think about it, but if you think about a deal, it's a buyer and a seller, or a landlord and a tenant. This guy wants the highest price and least capital outlay, best credit. This guy wants the lowest price and the best terms for him. So by nature, it's like this battle. By nature, there's privacy and negotiation. So the information is not there from the start. So now I go in as a broker, and I'm like living in the trench in between these two guys. So the first real inefficiency, and so I'm not going to go into regular business stuff, so I'll keep it short, but is to get like trust from your client. for them to actually release all the information that you need to get the job done, right? But let's fast forward now into, let's say this guy trusts you. I'm working with a big property owner in New York City. He has a building. I do a lot of retail leasing. So let's say it's a big retail space, wants to lease it out to like, I don't know, Home Depot. The first inefficiency is really understanding the construction of the building and like, where do you store all this information? And you can think of it as like, well, I'll just have like a building program or something to store everything. So how do I say this to your audience without making it boring? All right, I'm gonna fast forward all this stuff. First is the building. Then it's the terms. What does this owner really want underlying it? Not the building, not the physical building, but what kind of money does he want? What kind of terms does he want? Like, what's the goals of this guy, of your client? Then you have to understand the neighborhood. And this is where all these like tech companies start coming in, because tech companies right now, they don't have the ability to go and figure out physical buildings. The data isn't stored anywhere. The buildings kind of get changed around in private, not on the web. But there's a lot of neighborhood data. There's like subway data, and there's foot traffic data, demographic data, everything. So you have all these platforms. Most of the tech platforms now are one way or another trying to sell you this kind of data. Now you got to put together this data that fits whatever project you're working, whatever building you're working on. And that's to get an understanding of what you're working with. Now,
Okay.
that's just the first part of the deal. Then you got to package it into the marketing, and then you got to communicate it out to the world. And this is kind of a marketing thing, but specific to real estate. All right, how do I package this? How do I find the right people? How do I get to them? And when we get to them, then it goes into negotiations, which accounts for the construction, the architecture. You have to, then you get a contract out. You have to go through the lawyer, the leases, all that stuff. So the inefficiency is there's all these disciplines, and to make the deal smooth. I mean, this process that I just laid out in like, a couple minutes, it does take months. It could take a year or two, even if the deal is big. So the real biggest inefficiency is who's quarterbacking this whole thing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like you may have a workflow, you may have a step-by-step process that you follow. What will it be? Or is it like a chaotic stream of task going from getting a deal until finding a broker, finding a buyer or seller?
Yeah, it's like this. It's a stream of tasks, but um, I think the default thought process will be like, well, I'll just have like a task management system, right? Like a CRM or something like that. Simple. But um, the problem with that in the real estate industry is that they're either too specific, and even within one like category of real estate deal, we'd say we're truly like a service business. So every deal has this like case by case nature to it. There's always variables in each deal. So the out of the box management systems, they're always too rigid to actually work unless you're like hyper specific on something. And you just do that only all day. And the ones that are like Salesforce or like Monday, where they're toggleable. You probably could make a system that works. Um, the nature of real estate brokerage, at least in America, is that um, it's weird, man. There's no companies that do this, right? So in America, we're all 1099 workers. So you look at like CBRE, JLL, Colliers, these huge real estate companies, and you would think that like they got it locked down, their processes, but really they're like they're like these corporations with all these divisions of real estate property management financing. Their brokerage divisions, it breaks down into like these little teams, and the teams don't have the capacity to build something that like I'm talking about right now. um yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, I was about to ask you, but you probably answered. Uh, why do most these tech company, prop tech builders, uh, why do most prop tech builders miss the reality of how deals actually work? And you answered basically, and just before, um, saying that it's not that easy. It's a whole mess in between, chaotic workflow. And what I wanted to ask is, if you are trying at Origin and previously Project Queens, trying to solve this problem, if you are trying to build um, a product or an offering consulting or something in between, which one are you?
Oh, are you asking me
You,
right now?
you you're a broker, obviously, but are you trying to build a product or or a consulting company as well, or the solution is only for brokers?
So it would be a solution. I'm trying to build like a template, you could say. um it would be a product, but you know the solution of what we're talking about right now, right? Taking all of these steps where you need, ultimately, right? They go to third parties, a lot of these steps. So on each step, um, let's say a contractor will come in that has expertise in contracting, and a lawyer come in will have expertise in law. But they're just doing their piece, and the broker needs to like put it together in this kind of like one file, and the broker needs to be knowledgeable enough to understand which parts to put in. And in terms of payment, right, like the third party people, they get paid for their job. And and the reality of it, like brokers on the commissions, we make a lot of money for the deal. And a misconception a lot of the time is like, especially for like newbie brokers, is, you just bring the buyer or something and you get paid. But that's really like, and that's the most important part, right? But really, what we're getting paid for, what we should be getting paid for, is to manage the entire process. And so to answer your question, like, what am I trying to build here? There's no product right now. There's no ability for a piece of software or a physical machine to put this together like this. And I would imagine anything that has like this horizontal nature to it, any industry, is going to run into the same issues. But what we are doing here and what the solution is, like moving into the future, because the solution is there, it will exist eventually. It is to slowly, what's going on is you're replacing what, like, if you can imagine, every piece of this work. So I kind of said like, you're tracking all this information, right? Well, you could put it in a CRM, but you got to be like an expert at everything and organize everything all the time to do it right. Okay, well, now there's like AI fields within the CRM that you could dump stuff. The next thing would be like to take all this information and like make marketing material out of it. But what I'm trying to say is like, it's very laborious and like physical in nature. But now there's programs and that you can do to like press a button and hit a template and go in. But even moving forward, like this is like current right now. There's like certain AI. There's so much ads and spam about AI, but and I haven't done it yet. But there's like features that I'm sure we're going to incorporate soon. Where well, the graphics designer doesn't need to sit there and 2 days later you get your thing. All the information is organized and it pumps out into the graphics. So what I'm trying to say is like each piece is now slowly getting replaced with like a technological replacement where an office used to have like 30 people, maybe they only need 15. Moving forward, they only need 10 because it's more organized and the systems are getting better, particularly with the AI stuff. Like
Yes.
I look at my leases now. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I'll just throw it into ChatGPT and say, double check this for me. I'll take like a million different things like that. And the piece that really ties all of this together is AI. There's
That's right.
there's no doubt about it. And there's no
Okay.
other way to do it. Right.
No,
So
that's right. That's right.
you're taking all of this. It used to be huge amounts of information, whether it's graphics, whether it's reading through stuff, whether it's I went to the building, took down like a million notes and put it in the system. And then to sit back and look at it and try to organize it. It's just basically impossible unless you're a maniac and really love this job, right? And you're replacing each piece one at a time. Well, that used to take me 2 days, now it takes me 15 minutes. Bum, 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 bum. The last piece really that's not here yet is can you set up your SOPs and structure where AI can take all your info in a way that's usable on an interface and just like pump this thing out properly. Now, I have to bring this back to brokerage or the real estate industry or owners with a lot of property or tenants that are like really, really opening up, like or buyers that are buying tons of property. You got to be like a real estate professional, right? Because you may be sitting there and be like, well, I could do one deal really well. If I'm just doing one deal, I don't need to build systems and have figure out AI to do things for me. I could go literally with a pen and paper and a pad and do every step slowly, one by one, and I'll be done with the deal nice and clean. Yeah, by working on it like all day, like just once or twice a week and pushing it along with quality. That's people have been doing that for 100 years. That's the traditional way. But where does it break down? And where has it never got to high quality, high efficiency is if your business is this. Okay, now can you do that on 10 deals? Can you do that on 100 deals? Like, no way. Nobody can do that. And and I work with some of the biggest companies in the States. And the ones that do it really well, they don't even do it that well. I mean, these are huge companies with massive workforce and different departments on everything. But when it comes down to like one-on-one conversation on one deal, I mean, everyone's scrambling around, trying to figure shit out. Like they're just regular people. So the ability for these systems to be built, which we're doing right now here, we have a team of like really, aside from the agents, like 6 people right now. And, 3 or 4 years ago, I'll say like 5 years ago, I could do 5 deals clean at one time. And I would try to do 10, and then the quality would start going down. Right now, I'm doing like 20 deals clean and maintaining the quality pretty well. And it's not just technology, but it's like a mixture of like staff. But the goal is to keep expanding that with all the upgrades. The ultimate kind of thing that we're talking about right now, you should be able to do like 50, 75, 100 deals, like super clean, just by yourself. Not by yourself completely, but something like that. And if you can make a system like this, you're talking about like a product, right? Um, it would be a product. Like this is something that, I can, just personally expand from New York City and copy and paste this template to other cities where it would be under the Origin umbrella and would go nationwide. Or it's something realistically, if you kind of just separate off that and just make it like a tech product, you could sell it to all the brokers, you could sell it to all big mall owners, you could sell it to all the property managers, like whatever. Everyone would use it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, okay, I got your point. And what I wanted to say is this show is about AI, but not just AI sec. I'm always curious to know how you see it fitting into your workflow um, to do a better work. And you mentioned it. You have mixed feeling, or you're using or you're not using it. And my question is: are you using AI automation or in your current workflow, and not much, but you could do in order to scale at 70 deal, 100 deal for yourself?
Yeah. We use a bit of AI in our systems, like our software tools. So we use ClickUp, right? It's boring, right? There's built-in AI features, you ChatGPT uses this and that, but we purchase a bunch of different third-party systems, tech systems, data systems, AI systems. There's a couple we've keep, and there's a couple that and because it's so new, we purchase the subscription, try it out, see if it works. A lot of the time it's like, oh, it's not really cracked up what it is. But I think the real gap here right now is that for the systems that work and for the things that we do, to transcribe these different subscriptions and systems that we have internally, our own proprietary stuff, because you got to package it, right? It can't just be like all over the place. It needs to be packaged for me so I can get a clear understanding. It needs to be packaged, not just for me, but for the other agents I'm with that are on the deal, the staff, so we can all get an idea. And then it needs to be packaged for the client. So it could be communicated either to our client internally with proprietary information, pricing, whatever it is, or in the marketing to the people we're trying to talk to. And what's happening right now, so this is the gap, is to put it all together. It requires people, physical people, right? So we'll have all these different, whether it's AI or different data pulls, data sets, however it is. We use a myriad of different things, right? Once we find something we like, to put it together, it still requires a physical person to grab it, put it in, recalibrate it, organize it, make it the user interface, the final product good for however we're using it. Again, the real thing that's very difficult is everything's case by case on the deals. So you need a system that is specific enough to get the job done, but flexible enough to not get fucked up every time you're doing a new deal.
Of course.
Right.
That makes sense.
So, as the system gets more refined, my own system, I don't know what everyone else is doing out there. You know, it's like talking to you on a podcast. I'm like, whoa, what am I really doing that much? But then like, there's got to be some big companies doing better. But I know the big companies. I'm not quite sure if they're doing better. I don't think they are. Someone out there is. I'm not trying to talk smack or anything. Someone out there is doing something amazing. But you know, I have a vision and an idea at least how to get there. Maybe slower than some other guys, but as the system gets more refined and then the like that API connection becomes more clear, then you can put it together. And see, the problem with API connections is one, they're expensive, and two, it's like sometimes they're just not possible. I don't know, right? It's just what are you gonna have, like a team of coders making you this one API for like our deals? Um, and again, is AI gonna do it? Is it gonna be the holy grail of like forget the APIs, forget like this perfect puzzle match? I can just grab all this and just dump it in here, and then it'll pop it out right.
Okay. Then let me ask you, what's your vision for the future? Where is all this heading? And what does the future of urban development and brokerage look like in your view?
Well, I think it's a question everyone has, right? Like, what do? We organize a we organize a bunch of information, and then we have relationships. Like our relationships are very special in this business, but it's because like trust and privacy and things like that are important. Um, when the systems are, I mean, it's already happening now, right? I went from 5 deals to like 20, and I'm like, there's low hanging fruit in my development cycle right now that like clearly we can do, right? These are in between like this, like the holy grail and where I'm at now. There's like concrete steps that I'll be taking in the next year or two that are like clearly going to work. Get to like 30 deals, 35. Um, so in like a lot of the industries like that entry level or, certain jobs are not needed. And I guess the question is like, what does the future of this look like? Like, am I needed? Because if it can actually get all the information there, if it can actually be accurate, well, I mean, that's almost better than like trust, right? Like, and I do really, I don't know, pride myself. It sounds so boring, right? But like, I have great relationships. I love to do a good job. It's part of it. It's fun.
Yeah.
But if you got the accurate information in a system that's like clean, the data's clean, the info's clean, like, do you really need me anymore? I'm not quite sure. Like, and will AI actually get there? Is someone going to do it? Um, Probably like in 100 years for sure. But um, I'm gonna make a ton of money before it happens, man. At least I'm gonna try to do that.
Okay, then let me ask you, if you had, and you probably have the team, if you have the team and budget to build anything right now, what will it be? What will you build?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Um,
Within your business, obviously, CRE, or maybe not.
well, man, I kind of would build what I'm just trying to build right now, right? Like, I mean, because it's like I would
If
love to be in a position where I'm done with what I'm doing right now, and then I could like walk around the shows and kind of like think about what I'm going to build. But it's like, I don't know, it never gets there. I'm like building and building, and this gets built, and then the idea comes halfway through. We start incorporating another thing. Then I'm like doing it in
that's
real time, but
that's great.
I never have time to like stop and like reflect on like what should we do next. Um, but if we were to build anything right now, um, I could give you like two or three things. I mean, one is the system that can kind of just like, even without AI, just like pop things out. The other thing would be, I mean, database, people have database and stuff. Really the killer thing would be like some kind of matching tool. It'd be, and people have that. I mean, I subscribe to them. They're like matching tools. I mean, they never work. You know, like, oh, I'm gonna just get this property and I click a button and like now we're good. The deal's done. Like it's not even it's not even remotely close. And these are like, they call them like the golden or like the platinum or whatever diamond companies in tech that are popping up. I saw them 5 years ago. Now they have like $1 billion valuation, but like that, their matching tool doesn't work. You know, um, it would be something that and again, they're only taking the neighborhood data. They're just taking the public available resources and stuff. But if you can go one level deeper, and this is where the tech companies just can't, right? Or at least it's not solved. One level deeper means you need to understand the building, and the data is not available. You can't do it in volume. So how do you get a system that incorporates the physical data of the building into that neighborhood stuff? If
That's
you can
interesting.
do that, and there's gonna be, again, there's this like kind of like batch node nature of these things. There's gonna be some person that makes a platform or an app or a program where you can go and figure out the physical nature of the building. And then once these things combine, I mean, that would be a huge game changer in the real estate industry.
Okay. If I interview one of my guests is doing one of the things, I let you know.
Yeah, yeah. Please let me know. We'll figure it out.
Okay. What keeps you motivated on a day-to-day basis?
What keeps me motivated on a day-to-day basis, man?
Your
This is New York
mindset.
City, man. I'm not super successful and stuff yet. I mean, this is war, dude. We're at war every day, and we like it and stuff, man. This is
Yeah.
forget motivation. This is necessity, survival, everything, glory. This is fucking everything, dude.
Okay, Michael. Michael, this is great. This has been very fantastic. I love it. I love your insight. I love your perspective on how real estate is really working and what it takes to fix something, a chaos from the inside. And I think it's, I mean, it's everybody is different, and it's exactly the kind of insight that we love on the show. Uh, Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you again
Yeah.
for joining us on the AI Interconnect.
Thanks for taking the time to even listen, man. I appreciate it. It's awesome.
That's great. Thank you so much. And that's it for today's episode of the AI Interconnect. And if you enjoyed it, share it with someone who is building the future, or even better, someone who should be. And until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and keep building. Thank you.